the market conversation continues, and let's actually put this question to Satish Ramanathan, who is joining us on the show now. He is Chief Investment Officer at JM Financial Asset Management. Satish, good morning. Good to have you on the show. So let's just start with this. Do you think the market will be able to digest this? Global markets and India kind of take it in their stride, because one narrative always has been that rate hikes mean a good economy and therefore it's good for the stock market. But that doesn't seem to be the interpretation that markets are taking, at least right now.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on board. This is the question that all of us discuss ever so often. The main aspect that we need to understand is higher interest rates acts as a brake on the economy, and it will be true that the economy slowdown will take place eventually. But what we see is corporate India's balance sheet and cash flows are fairly strong to embark on a growth journey. Corporate India's profits of the BSE 500 was close to 11,50,000 crores in FY23, and that's set to increase. The kind of cash flows that corporate India is generating, if it's deployed into capex, that would keep the growth momentum going. So given that corporate India has got a low debt to equity and strong profitability and cash flows, I think we should take this in a measured manner, be cautious, but not panic.
Okay, that is on, how the central bank action could really sort of weigh on the markets right now. Satish, thanks a lot for joining us. So, in the current setup that we are at now, pretty much at all-time high levels, right? What are the pockets that really stand out to you, or, that you feel are still fairly valued and you would feel comfortable putting some fresh money into?
I think there is, in general, the manufacturing space still looks reasonable. There are pockets in the manufacturing space which have cooled off, where we could probably invest. There are the banking sector has cooled off considerably. That's also a pocket where we could look at from a growth to value paradigm perspective. So I think there are still areas to look at. Probably the cap goods space. Some of them have run up a little ahead of expectations. That may need to cool off before one looks to invest. But overall, I think there are opportunities.
Satish, can you elaborate on that point when you're saying that manufacturing, cap goods, they're still offering pockets of entry? Where exactly? Because manufacturing is a very large space. I mean, cutting across from auto to construction, engineering, etc. So could you narrow it down a bit more for us?
I think the mainstream auto companies are still reasonably valued. If you look at the frontline auto companies which make passenger cars or make two-wheelers, manufacture two-wheelers, they are still at reasonable valuations, and they have not necessarily participated as much as some of the cap goods companies. So there's a pocket of opportunity there. And if you look at the auto ancillary companies, the kind of growth momentum they're witnessing is also fairly strong, and one could look at them as well. But that is a far more selective process rather than the cap goods space, which has been a broad brush.
Okay, got that. Satish, how are you looking at the IT space now? We also had Accenture's earnings come through overnight, and they're sounding quite cautious. Do you think there are some pockets within the IT space which are still looking okay? I mean, we've been talking about the entire ERND play. Do you think that is something that is still all right, or would you perhaps look away from the entire IT pack?
The momentum of earnings growth for the IT sector has been declining, whether it be large cap or mid cap, across the past 4 quarters, and that is expected to continue. Having said that, valuations have also corrected. It's been probably amongst the worst performing sectors over a 1-year basis, and it serves a good hedge against the currency volatility, and also focuses on free cash flow. So that's something which we will probably look at. But our bias is towards smaller niche IT names rather than the mainstream IT names.
Okay, got that. That is on the IT space. Satish, thanks a lot for joining us and taking us through your call on some of these individual pockets. We do hope to have you back on the show soon so we can talk about a few more sectors as well. With that, we're going to get into a short break.